Welcome back to Weather on the Go, everyone. My name is Hunter. Hope everybody's having a lovely Tuesday afternoon out there so far. This is May 14th, and in today's afternoon update, we're going to be updating you on your afternoon high temperatures here, such as on this map, and also additionally looking at rounds of showers and thunderstorms moving across the United States going through this week, and that continues into the weekend. We'll dive into everything that you need to know in today's weather forecast, but let's look here at your high temperatures this afternoon, and we can see some pretty warm temperatures out here into the plain states from Nebraska southward all the way to Texas here, especially down here into the Rio Grande Valley this afternoon. Temperatures approaching the triple digit point, and even in parts of the Florida Peninsula, we're actually seeing some 90s out there into central and southern Florida this afternoon as well. Let's look at our current weather conditions across the United States as well this afternoon. You can see some scattered showers and thunderstorms with the heat of the day popping up from the Midwest back here through the Ohio Valley and into the southeast. And a few of these thunderstorms could get a little bit more rambunctious with damaging winds, large hail, and a couple of tornadoes this afternoon still, as the Storm Prediction Center's latest day one outlook maintains a slight risk of severe weather here into parts of Tennessee, northern Alabama, northern portions of Georgia, also down here into northern and central Florida as well. And we have many areas where we could, in the dark green shaded color, see a severe thunderstorm or two as we go through the rest of this afternoon and this evening. So the main risk here overall will be winds up to 60 miles per hour with these storms, especially in these yellow shaded colors across middle and eastern Tennessee, getting into northern portions of Alabama and North Georgia, also into north and central Florida. We'll keep a close eye on those areas. Otherwise, areas in brown still have a very small chance of some 60 mile per hour wind gusts. And here, looking at the hail threat, it is highest across middle Tennessee around the Nashville region, Chattanooga, and then into northern Alabama and northwest Georgia. Those areas have a 15% probability of quarter-size hail. Areas outlined in the brown have a much lower chance of quarter-size hail, but it still will be possible through the day. And we have a very low chance of a few tornadoes as well in the light green shaded colors across the Tennessee Valley into the southeast, but also a small area into South Dakota and northern Nebraska this afternoon and evening as well. So let's go through the afternoon. You can see those pop-up scattered showers and thunderstorms from the Midwest into the Ohio Valley and into the southeast. Any one of those storms could pose a risk for damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, some quarter-size hail, or a tornado or two. Also watching our low-pressure system up here into South Dakota and Nebraska vicinity. That could lead to a couple of strong thunderstorms, producing maybe a couple of tornadoes there, damaging winds and hail as well. That will continue into the evening hours, into the early evening especially. I think as we grow deeper into the evening, late evening hours, we will lose the instability and energy in the atmosphere. So that means these thunderstorms will fade away very quickly. And you can see that as we go into after midnight, early Wednesday morning, a lot of the coverage of the showers and storms will be dwindling by the time we approach sunrise here. But looking here at the total of rainfall accumulations, or at least what we can see additionally from this point onward through Wednesday morning, and you can see from the Midwest through the Ohio Valley and much of the southeast seeing at least a half an inch of rain here in the medium greens and even the blues and oranges. Those are areas depicting over an inch of rainfall. One area as such into southeastern Illinois, into southern portions of Indiana, into Kentucky and Tennessee. Another area over here into Virginia, into the Carolinas, such as North and South Carolina there, especially the coastal regions. And then down here into North Florida, we could be keeping an eye on the heaviest rain for the United States today, over an inch and a half in some areas from Tallahassee eastward towards Gainesville, Florida. If you are new here to the channel, make sure to subscribe to my channel down below as we do daily weather forecast videos and also sometimes these afternoon update videos as well. We will keep you covered across southern Canada, the United States, and the tropics. And also be sure to press the thumbs up button down below. It helps out more than you know. Going through the rest of this week on Wednesday, you can see a trough over here that's going to continue into the southeast, bringing unsettled weather across those areas midweek. A new storm system with a lot of energy pushing in with a new trough across portions of the Baja of California into Arizona and New Mexico and West Texas will slide eastward and actually strengthen as we go into Thursday, May 16th, and then push slowly to the east by the end of the work week on Friday, May 17th. So what this will bring is renewed chances for showers and thunderstorms. You can see on Wednesday, May 15th, some pretty active weather across the upper Midwest and the high plains, some scattered showers and storms here. Also over here into the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast, pretty active as well. Just keep an umbrella handy if you do go out on Wednesday. We are monitoring some severe weather potentially as we go into Wednesday evening across the central and southern plains. This could pose a risk for damaging winds, hail, and a couple tornadoes, especially with the slight risk here into southern and southeastern Kansas, into central and western Oklahoma, and mainly the eastern Texas panhandle. That area is of greatest concern for severe potential on Wednesday. Florida has a slight risk as well into central Florida for Wednesday. That will mainly be a morning event as a line of storms progresses from northwest to southeast through the state there. Going into Thursday, we are keeping an eye on some heavier rains across portions of Texas hill country here as we go through the day. That will progress eastward as a line of storms moves through East Texas into Louisiana and western Mississippi Thursday night. That could also pose a risk for some severe weather, especially there into central Texas. I wouldn't be surprised if the Storm Prediction Center actually expanded this slight and marginal risk just a little bit further to the east to account for that line of storms potentially on some of the models as they indicate that moving further east into East Texas, Louisiana, and maybe even into Mississippi on Thursday night. Then as we go into Friday, we can see a little bit of some shower storm activity from the Great Lakes region, the Ohio Valley southward all the way to the Gulf of Mexico here. Just some severe weather potentially as we go into Friday night across portions of Louisiana and Mississippi. Again, this area may need to shift a little bit further to the east. It just depends on how fast the forward speed of our storm is as we go through mid and late week. And with all this said, with the severe weather potential, this is a very interesting situation here because a lot of these areas across the deep south from East Texas into Louisiana especially have been seeing a lot of rainfall. Look at the past 7-day rainfall anomalies here into East Texas and Louisiana here, and you can see over 3 inches of rain above normal from this time of year. And you can see in that very area into East Texas, into Louisiana, we're going to be adding on at least 2, 3, even 4 more inches of rain between Wednesday, May 15th and Friday, May 17th, and this could lead to some flash flooding potential. So as we go into Wednesday tomorrow, there's a marginal risk of flash flooding across the plains, especially Kansas on south into Oklahoma, into Texas, maybe even up here into western Missouri. That actually gets a little bit more concerning on Thursday in that area that has been seeing a lot of rainfall over the past week or so. We're going to see even more rainfall over what is already saturated soils here into East Texas, into Louisiana, and western Mississippi. That's a moderate risk for flash flooding there on Thursday. Numerous flash floods could be possible. And then as we go into Friday, a slight risk for flash flooding in Louisiana, into Mississippi, Alabama, and northwest Florida there as we continue to see more rainfall over what is already saturated soils there to end the work week. And then as we go into the weekend, a ridge of high pressure will begin to build. So, a lot of active weather this week. Those of us that are tired of the gloomy, unsettled weather will get a break from that and actually some much needed summertime heat across the middle of the country. Here are your high temperatures potentially on Saturday. Into the 80s we go, all the way up into Nebraska, Iowa, into northern Illinois here, and 90s from Kansas down here into western Oklahoma and much of west central Texas. Sunday comes along and we still see a lot of widespread 80s across the south, but also portions of the east as well. So definitely seeing a more spring and summertime feel to our weather pattern by the weekend. And you can see precipitation wise for Saturday, Could be seeing some numerous coverage of showers and storms across the eastern seaboard, especially from around West Virginia and Virginia on south through eastern Tennessee, the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. We may have to watch these on Saturday for some strong to severe storms. That would mainly pose a risk for wind and hail. I think the tornado threat is pretty low there. As we go into Saturday night, we start to clear all that thunderstorm activity off the southeast coast. Pretty dry as a strong high pressure system starts to develop across New Mexico and Colorado. That double-barreled high-pressure system will be in full force on Sunday. A ridge of high pressure, we'll have to watch that to the north across the high plains into the upper Midwest on Sunday the 19th as a low-pressure system in 997 starts to develop up there near Wyoming or South Dakota. That could be over top of that ridge, and as we build the instability with all of that heat out there, that could lead to enough of some energy for the thunderstorms as we go into Sunday afternoon, Sunday night this weekend to produce some strong thunderstorms up there for the parts of the upper Midwest and the high plains through portions of South Dakota, eastern Nebraska, Iowa, maybe even southern Minnesota Sunday into Sunday night. And we could see that here with the low-level jet. It's going to be pretty strong Sunday night, so if we get a line of storms to develop, now it is a little bit far out here. We'll continue to keep you updated on this. This is definitely not a forgiven, forecast that this is going to be occurring, but this is a potential for Sunday night that if a line of storms does get going, that we could start to see a little bit more upscale growth, more damaging winds, more hail, and maybe a couple tornadoes with a stronger low-level jet over 50 knots here with these red shaded colors from Iowa down into Missouri and Kansas. And looking at the rainfall totals this weekend, pretty dry across the south central U.S. with the influence of that ridge of high pressure. With a ridge of high pressure, you see a lot of drier weather that will be occurring there. And then to the north, where we have a little weakness in that ridge, a low pressure system, that 997 millibar low, will be traversing over top of that, producing some showers and storms, maybe even some stronger thunderstorms from South Dakota, eastern Nebraska through southern Minnesota, Iowa, southwest Wisconsin, and perhaps even as far east as northwestern Illinois as well. Also some pretty active weather on the eastern side of that ridge before it builds in across the southeast coast again. Very heavy rains this weekend for southern Georgia and North Florida. Some areas over 4 inches there just this weekend. And looking into next week, ridge of high pressure stays in firm control across the south, so expect more heat down here. Troughs across the Pacific Northwest will lead to more cooler weather, but also active weather over top of that ridge. So underneath the ridge, we're going to have some very dry conditions for southeastern Arizona, southern New Mexico, and into western and southern Texas. But over top of that, we're going to see a weakness in the ridge of high pressure. So that means those ridge rider type of storm setups, we could be seeing those mesoscale convective systems with those lines of storms that could produce damaging winds, hail, and tornadoes across the high plains, and then diving south and east through portions of the Mississippi Valley and into the southeast as we go into next week. So thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to press the like button down below. Comment anything that you need to know. We will update you on everything that you need to know in today's weather forecast and moving forward. And again, leave all your comments down below, and also be sure to subscribe to the channel down below. We'll keep you updated all the way through the rest of this year. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday out there.